Okay, Matty.
Yes.
Guess what?
Where are we, Clouds?
My God, mate, we are up to episode number 16.
No way.
Yeah, we are. Can you believe it? And we've made this one a special episode. You know why? Because we've got a guest that's come into the studio, right, all the way from Queensland to join us here at Bondi Beach, headquarters of the Mentors, Mr. Jet Xavier. Bring him on.
Yes.
Hey.
How are you, Jet?
How are you, my friend?
Awesome.
Not just from Queensland, from Surfers Paradise.
Surfers Paradise.
Say hello to everybody out there,
just
mate.
check the tan out.
He didn't have enough clothes on either. He didn't think he was coming to Sydney.
Exactly.
That's right.
Freezing.
Wrong T-shirt, mate. Wrong T-shirt.
So Jet, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
So we've got him on the line. Just 1 second. So ring. Hello, welcome to the Mentors. G'day, this is Claudio. I've got to tell you, Matt and Claudio, this is the best show ever on the podcast. I love your show. Can't wait to be on it. I've got a question. Great. Well, we've got Jet Xavier, who's our guest mentor here today. What would you like to ask Jet? Oh, Jet, I love your stuff, mate. I watch you on Sunday nights, live on Facebook. And
Wednesday.
I've got a question for you, Jet. Just around, I've been seeing a lot of stuff around wellness today, and you've got a very key message. What is your message out there at the moment that you're spreading to a lot of agents in the marketplace?
Well, the key message, guys, is this: how do we create extraordinarily amazing and awesome businesses, but have sustainable careers at the same time?
Huge message.
That's the big question. It's not only sweeping the real estate industry; it's sweeping every industry. How do we work out how to achieve everything that we want in life, but have less impact on family, our own social networks, our health, mindset, emotional management, that type of thing? How do we achieve that? That's a big thing that I'm trying to drive now within the industry, and obviously find the answer to the question. So I was talking to Matt before about, high performance. Within high performance, you have a small group of high performance who have high levels of endurance, high levels of tolerating stress and pressure, but they're very far and few between. They're there, and they can really put in the hours, and they can go for a long time, and they can put up with more pressure than most people, but there's only a few of them. So what do the rest do? Where do we go for the rest?
So true.
Because businesses aren't made up of 100% high performers who can handle high levels of stress and pressure and endure for long periods of time through emotional, challenges and setbacks and that type of stuff. They're very far and few between. So most businesses are full of people who are, normal humans like us, really.
Yeah.
Trying to make a living out of real estate and keep sane, have a stability about their business, and be able to be in it for the long term. I mean, real estate's a revolving door. We know that. We always hear that.
Yeah. So, Jet, obviously you've done a white paper on this.
Yep.
You've done a study and you've done the research on it. What were some of the key indicators that you found from your white paper about the health of the industry in real estate right now?
So, a couple interesting points. So we did the national research, which is, by the way, the first ever research done in the real estate industry in Australia.
Congratulations for you doing that.
Thanks
well done,
guys. And I mean, there were no surprises, to be honest, but it just confirmed what we had a sneaking suspicion about, and it's given us some great data to be able to bring in some programs and bring some change to the industry. So some key things that came out of it were 65% of agents across the board in the industry are either stressed often or always. The other thing I want to say before I give you some stats is the research was BDMs, it was PMs, it was directors, it was principals, it was low-income agents, high-income agents, it was administrative assistants. So it's everybody in the industry that are in this research. Because sometimes there's a stereotype that, that agent's doing really well, so therefore they don't suffer from stress, or that business is really growing it, so they obviously are not stressed, but it's everyone in the industry. So 65% stressed often or always, 47% suffering physical symptoms of anxiety. In one of the best industries in the world, we've got nearly half of the industry suffering physical symptoms of anxiety. About 46% said that work impacted on personal relationships. So again, an industry that should be making people better after they leave than when they walked in, is in a sense contributing to impacting on personal relationships. There were health issues, there were people turning to alcohol and, drugs and all the other type of stuff, but they were the key things that came out of it. So for us, researching this, it's about taking that information and going, okay, well, how do we address it now? What do we do? What practically can we apply to individuals, offices and brands to make some changes? Because the big challenge, mate, is that this isn't an industry that says, tell me about your problems. Tell me what's going on. Tell me if you're coping or not. Tell me if you're overwhelmed. Tell me if you're struggling. Tell me if you're unmotivated. No, it's shut up, sit down, here's your phone, here's your desk, get on with it. Now, and like I said at the start, there are a certain percentage of real estate agent that fit that mold perfect, yep? You don't have to babysit them, hold their hand. You don't have to worry about them. Off they go. But for most of us mere humans, that's not us. Yeah. So what do we do for that group of people? Because they're the ones that are, linked to profitability in an organisation. And I was saying to you, Matt, before, there's, you haven't got a lineup of top performers who can handle high-level stress and pressure lining up at your door every day. So you have to start taking, or the industry has to start looking at how can we take some responsibility and contribute to the improvement of the wellness and well-being of people that potentially are just having a bad day all the way through to suicidal. And we've had a couple of suicides in the industry.
I'm astounded. Like
recently.
I've heard of a few.
And everything in between.
Amazing what you've done, because it just top of the mind awareness brings change. It's the first thing. Yep. What took you down that path to enlightenment about it? Can you just go back to how you actually, what made you, what was the moment?
Yeah, because you were, if you look at some of your earlier videos, Jet, was all like grind, and now
you're pretty high powered, yeah?
Yeah, lots of energy. Which,
So 6 years ago.
Hence your first name?
Yeah, that's it, So 6 years ago when I got in the industry, I thought, well, mindset's an important thing, emotional intelligence is an important thing, but how do we use that so people can perform at top levels, can, be the $1 million agent, can do all that type of stuff? How can we relate that to that? And that's where I sort of started, and I've fallen to the 90 hours a week and all that type of stuff and the success models that are around. And, I thought that was the right way. But what happened was I had a lot of agents coming to me who were within the industry, so-called good agents. They're writing $500,000 a year. They might be writing $800,000 a year, but they're on anxiety medication. They've been hospitalized twice. They've put on 15 kilos. They're not seeing their family. They're working 6 to 7 days a week. They're not happy. And so I'm thinking, hang on a second, whilst this mindset, emotional intelligence, high performance training is good for them to help them increase profitability, it's really not doing a lot for them as a human. So there was a shift about 4 years ago in my business where I started to think, well, what else needs to happen in the development of a great agent? Yeah. So you guys do all the skill set stuff and the marketing and social media, and in Australia, we've probably got the best trainers like yourselves in that. But no one was addressing the inside of the human, what really counted: emotional stability, the proper mindsets, health and wellness, a time with family, legacy, all that type of stuff. So that started the road. And then last year, I designed the first ever summit for the industry. 2 days, wellness and wellbeing, the best psychologists, the best stress management experts, the best in time management. Let's get them together. Let's have massages, yoga, and let's relax for 2 days, not talk about scripts and dialogues or anything that's skill set related. Let's just talk about you and how we can make you a better human. And then out of that, we decided to do some research. Let's see what's going on in the industry nationally then. Okay, if this is the case on a one-to-one coaching basis, and I've done over 3,500 coaching sessions, if this is consistently a theme that's coming up, no one's addressing it, so let's address it at a national level. So we ran the research, we did think tanks in 4 states, we had over 55 influencers and key stakeholders in the industry come along, as well as psychologists and experts outside of the industry to contribute to the conversation. And we built a case for improving wellness and wellbeing in the industry, a platform. And so this year, 2018, we're doing the summit again on July 29th and 30th in the Gold Coast. We're running another national survey as well, and we've just finished the 3rd think tank around Australia. We're doing another one in Victoria soon.
Awesome.
So again, that's giving us more data, more information. So whilst I'm still doing mindset, emotional intelligence, high performance training from the human development point of view, wellness and wellbeing is certainly something that I'm really switched on to at the moment. And I think if no one's talking about it, we need to talk about it. We need to get it on the agenda at a national level. We need ambassadors like yourself to be talking about it as well.
Well, Jed, if someone's listening to this right now and they're not feeling that great.
I was going to say the same question.
Oh, sorry, Clown, jumping.
Because he's also one of the world's best mindset coaches as well.
And looking at what you've achieved and like what are some of the triggers, one, to like could help them, and two, who should they reach out to? Just this could be just someone listening to this going, you know what?
Especially right now because the market's really challenging and a few of them, it's financially, right? They were writing X amount of GCI last year. They haven't got that financial capability this year. That's a really good question, Matt.
I agree. I think it's important to understand the continuum, though. It's not only people that are at the extreme end, because if you're at the extreme end listening to this, call Lifeline. Like, call Beyond Blue.
Yes.
Call Black Dog. Just call one of those agencies straight away.
Just tell somebody.
Tell someone straight away. But it's more so the other group from I'm just kicked the dog. I've had a fight with my wife. I've come into work and now I've got to do 20 calls.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like it. I just can't do it. Or I've missed I've had a bad month. I'm coming into this market in a new month. I haven't got any listings. There's pressure straight away. Or I went to a listing presentation and I didn't get the business. There's pressure straight away. So that's or I'm overwhelmed. I'm running 20 listings and I can't keep up. I haven't got an assistant. I'm having a fight with my principal. All that type of stuff is the real day-to-day stuff. For people, which is the bulk of people, I think, in the research, those type of people have to do a number of things. The first thing is, and what research is showing us, is that we have a thing called hurried sickness. Yeah? We overextend ourselves. We're consistently trying to keep pushing forward all the time.
Squeeze the lemon.
Yeah, all the time. So the first thing we need to slow down. That's imperative. We just need to slow down a bit. Not the hard work, but the mental chatter. And that's about being present, yeah? Most of us, or our anxiety and stress comes from the fact that we're playing the game in the future or we're still playing the game in the past, yeah? We're thinking about what's happened in the next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, next day, next week, and our mind is in the future. What that does is create anxiety and stress. So it's self-inflicted. What we need to do is play the game now. What do I need to do now? Who do I need to ring now?
Yeah.
What listing do I need to attend now?
Correct.
What person do I need to talk to now? What do I need to do now and just focus on that? Because as soon as we move out of the moment and the present moment into the future or the past, our body releases cortisol. We start to get anxiety and stress.
Yeah.
And dependent upon that level of your tolerance and be able to handle it, depends on how your reaction is then.
Yes.
And then the last one is letting go. I mean, the Buddhists say all suffering comes from attachment. Yeah.
Yeah.
We hold on to everything.
That's so true.
We lose a listing, it's personal.
Yeah.
The agent jumps our sign, it's personal. Someone gets the admin wrong, it's personal.
Yes.
The kids don't do something, it's we carry this stuff around with us and it makes us anxious and stressed. When we're anxious and stressed or under pressure that we're not handling properly, or we're overwhelmed, or we're frustrated or annoyed or pissed off or angry, we are underperforming.
Yeah.
We are underperforming. So we've got to really recognize that and go, okay, well, if I'm doing that, I need to either slow down, I need to be present, and I need to let go. 3 simple things.
Well, that's great,
that we
Jack.
can
Great
consistently
advice.
practice.
One of my biggest mentors who I've got huge respect for just reminded me something you just said.
That's all right. Thanks, Matt. Thank
apart
you.
from Claudio.
He's here. He can actually tell us. What was that you said to Matt?
Thanks, Matt.
He was my mentor in kindergarten. He was a good footballer, a good tennis player.
Bring the cheese sandwich tomorrow, Matt. Bring the cheese sandwich.
He had the cheese.
I had the cheese. He brought the salami.
With Deepak Chopra, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you follow.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
love him.
One
Love
of the
him.
things he always says for people in business, I learned this 25, maybe 30 years ago. One of the first things and I think it's held me in to be able to perform so long at a length of time, is he says, let go of the outcome and watch your income grow.
Yeah.
So he said, let
a great
go
way
of
to
the
put it.
outcome.
Yeah, that's the Buddhist principle. You've got
As soon
to
as you
want
said
to.
it, just went bang, straight in my face.
There's nothing wrong with wanting to achieve greatness. Yeah, there's nothing wrong. I want that listing. I need to make that call. And there's nothing wrong with that sort of stuff. But when it dictates how we feel and how we operate it, we've got a problem.
Because what happens? Emotions drives behavior, right?
Exactly right.
And
Exactly
you know,
right.
one of the things one of my mentors and coaches many years ago helped me with was, he said, happiness starts within, right? And I remember, creating the ideal day and week, and I would say, okay, I've got to do 50 calls between 10 and 12. I've got to go and door knock for 2 hours in the afternoon. Then I've got to try and find, book an appraisal by the afternoon. And I remember talking to my coach, and he said, well, you're doing it the wrong way around. He said, if you're actually going to do an ideal day and week, he said, I want you to start with the things that make you happy first for the week. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? He said, well, what are things that you like to do? And I said, well, I love playing tennis on a Thursday night with the boys. He goes, right, stick that in your calendar first. He goes, what else do you do? I love going to pick up my kids from school in the afternoon and going hanging out for a gelato and having an espresso with them. He goes, great, put that in your diary next. So he goes, put the things that make you happy first. Then he said, number 2, put the things with your family.
That's
okay.
great.
So I went, Friday night dinners. We love having Friday night dinners either around the table or we go to a pizza bar or a Thai restaurant or whatever else. Still to this day, like tonight's Friday night, right? We're going out with the kids somewhere. I don't know. I'm sure the missus will organise a place.
Sounds like you've had enough gelato this week, Anthony.
But the second one, he said family. Then the third, he said work on this bit.
Yeah.
He said your mindset.
Great advice.
He said put personal development time. Listen to things that are going to help you grow, that are going to feed positive things. So I used to listen to podcasts. Well, in those days for me, it was CDs, etc. So put the time aside, number 3. And then he said the 4th thing then is you put your business stuff in. So he said once you start here, happiness comes within. And when you feel happy, it changes your emotions. Exactly what you're saying, Jet.
I agree. I mean,
you know, in terms
totally.
of before I'd go, okay, 50 calls, it brought anxiety like, okay, I've got to do these calls, got to do these proposals, got to get everything else. But when I started putting my things and made all those other things non-negotiable, me first, family second, personal development third, and then 4th business, it made a change in me. I was running at a different level.
And that's true. And they're the practical things that you can do. I mean, outside of, letting go, slowing down and being present, they're practical things that you can apply as well. The other thing that we haven't discussed is that's on the side of the individual. The real estate industry has a place in this as well. Because of the messaging that they have, just harden up, just get on with it, just keep pushing on. And we have to sort of look at that as well. We have to sort of change. I mean, if someone's complaining and they got a bad attitude, we'll kick him in the ass and say, get on with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if someone's having an off day, just might be the morning, might be a couple of hours, rather than just saying, get on with it, say, okay, well, where's your head at? What's going on?
Yeah.
What's happening in the background? What's impacting on you right now that's stopping you from making those calls or talking to that vendor or crunching those numbers? What is it? So the industry has a responsibility as well because of the messaging that they've created.
Correct.
In the sense of, you can't put your hand up. I mean, I love what Nathan Cassidy says from Owens Cassidy when he spoke at Revive last year. He said his business sort of changed and turned when he learned to be a little bit vulnerable and put his hand up. Say, hey, I'm trying to run this business that's just scaling so quickly and I'm finding it hard to hang on. Now, in this industry, that's sort of frowned upon in a sense. It's like, you should be able to hang on. You should be able to toughen up. But here's a guy, at the peak of his career who's got enough balls to say, hey, well, hang on a second, I'm struggling a little bit. Can someone give me a hand here and let's fix this up? And he's put some good people around me and off they went. Yeah. We need more of that in the industry. We need more people and more cultures that it's not weakness, it's not failure, it's just humanity.
Yeah.
We're not robots.
No,
we're not perfect. We're not all supermen. I mean, there are some supermen and women out there. Let me tell you, you've met them, I've met them, and you wind them up and off they go and they're indestructible.
But it's not everybody. That's not the majority.
So if we want a good, healthy, profitable, sustainable industry moving forward, and we have to do something as an industry as well as individuals. The other thing is we've got to keep up with best practice around the world. I mean, Phil Harris said it well at the think tanks last year for Revive. He talked about, we're cottage industries, we're small and, we're isolated from corporatization. Yeah. And we need to learn from what the Googles are doing and what the Zappos and the Amazons are doing. And we need to take what they're doing, we need to put it into real estate. There's a great quote from a professor of medicine at the University of California who said, I'm astounded when I go into Google, the mentality they have there, they're not going to work themselves to death to 10 o'clock every night. It's shifting. There's a movement in the world through the millennial movement that's coming through that's going, you want me to do what? Huh?
Yeah.
They've looked at us.
Yes.
And the impact. The World Health Organization says by 2030, stress is going to be the most serious sickness in the world. Yep.
Jesus.
We've got 4 in 10 people who are saying that their life's out of balance. 35% of cardiovascular disease, a third of stress in men, and a third of stress in women is contributed to job stress. So we've got a lot of serious things happening globally and in the industry. But the upside is this, right? If we improve wellness and wellbeing, if they do the things that you just talked about, if they let go, if they slow down, if they be present, if the industry starts to get more responsible, well, hang on a second, how can we improve the wellness and wellbeing of our people? We know healthy people are 3 times more productive.
Totally.
They take less sick leave. Yeah. They spend 146, I think, more days being effective than 49 when they're not, that they are sick. Yeah. And here's the kicker for the real estate industry. if you're an agency that promotes wellness and well-being in your business, and is serious about it, you become an attraction agency, And what is everyone trying to do in the current environment now? They're trying to become an attraction agency to vendors.
Yes.
They need to become an attraction agency to people who they want to work in their businesses, and having a wellness and well-being program, being serious about it from a culture point of view, makes a difference. Also, it's up to $15 return on every dollar invested.
Wow.
In wellness and wellbeing programs.
That's a good investment.
So it's not something we're thinking about, maybe wondering, does this work? Globally, from Google's down, it's happening now, and the real estate industry's got to catch up and get on board, because we have one of the best industries in the world. We have some of the best people in the world working in that industry, and we just want to make sure that we're committed to helping them at any level. Remember, on the continuum, at any level.
Correct.
I mean, we're talking about performance coaches now, not sales coaches. We're talking about people walk around and go, hey, Claudio, what's been happening? How you going? How's the family?
Yeah.
We talked about this last week. You're having a bit of a slump on that Wednesday because you're worried about talking. Where's your head at with that these days? What's going on? Because here's the shift from a wellness and wellbeing perspective. What the world has got right so far is this: the table tennis table, the fruit bowl, the slogan, the video screens, the white desks, the white chairs, the concrete look,
the concrete.
the social nights, the yoga visit every Wednesday.
Yeah.
We've got that right, Globally, that wellness and wellbeing practice, the gym membership, we've got all of that right, and that's laid the foundation. But where wellness and wellbeing is going in the future is into mental health, Do you know you can get a mental health first aid certificate now?
Really?
Yep. You can identify someone in your organisation to have a mental health first aid. It's not being a psychologist or a counsellor. It's just someone who has that role as a mental health first aider in your organisation. So you're going to see more and more and more and more of that. As businesses get in line with what's happening. What's happening globally.
So. Clinton,
I'm massively fascinated by this stuff, right? Because like psychology, performance, all that kind of thing relating together. Being the fact that I started a business 2 years ago, I went from a mental shift of security, like coming in and getting a paycheck and knowing that I could clock on and clock off, to then running my own show. And I noticed with a lot of my clients and a lot of real estate, a lot of these guys are either running their own business within a business or they have a team of people. And that shift goes from, hey, I've got the security of the paycheck, to now this mentality of like, I've got to do it, and if I don't do it, no one's going to do it better than me. It's really, really challenging. I think when you're talking about the slow down, the clock off, spending more time with the family, I know for myself personally, I literally have to go home, and because of mobile devices, creating the opportunity to work anywhere, anytime.
Because you got 2 little kids, right?
2 little kids, yep. So I've got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old. And my wife is full-time with those guys at the moment, which is a massive job in itself. I will come home and I literally have to hide my phone for the next 3 hours between 6 and 9 to make sure I'm not working, that I'm not distracted. And that's hard.
And the thing about the real estate industry, it's not about saying, hey, don't work Sundays or don't work late, because that's the real estate industry. That's just the way. We're not going to change the model. The model is what it is. And you have to work at 11 o'clock at night sometimes, 6 o'clock Sunday morning. You're not going to see your kids for a couple of weeks. I mean, that is part of the industry, but it's how we cope within that context.
Yes.
That's the important thing here. We're not going to change. The industry is one of those industries where you potentially are on call a lot of the time. You do strange hours. You do runs where you've 4 months maybe, and it's full on. There's different cycles in the year as well. So it's important to understand that as well. It's the impact we're talking about. This is what we need to understand here. And once we understand that, how do we lessen the impact but still increase profitability, still create successful businesses?
Knowing when to draw the line, right?
Correct. And even a lot of that with the stress and working long hours, can put a lot of pressure on the relationship as well, right, Jen? So then mentally you're sort of like, okay.
It's another added stress.
Yeah, exactly. Because the wife's going, you're not getting home till 9 o'clock from the office.
And that's because, that's just having the right conversations, saying, hey, look, for the next 3 weeks, I'm just going to be head down, ass up into work, and you're not going to see me for 3 weeks, and you might forget my name when I come back. But it's just having the conversation. But another thing I wanted to add was a big problem that came up last year with all these think tanks that we had was the onboarding of new people into the industry. There's not enough proper onboarding around, one, what's the expectation from them? What do they need to prepare for? Okay, and this is property management and sales as well. What are going to be the challenges? What are the potential setbacks? What's it really going to be like? And are you ready for that? And how do we help you onboard into that process as well? What we do is we grab someone, we train them up in a skill set, we drop them in a property management department or in a sales assistant role or as a sales assistant on a wage or whatever, a buyer's agent or whatever. And then we expect them to roll with the punches, and we expect them to cope, and we expect them to take on the challenges and overcome the setbacks and deal with the rejection. They haven't been trained to do that.
Yeah.
Where would they get that sort of training from?
They don't.
And so what it is, it's a volume type thing. It's okay, well, we'll get 20 and we know 3 are going to come through. But my argument is, I reckon there's another 4, 5 or 6 that could have been highly productive to that office or the industry that we're just sort of missing out on.
Correct.
Because we don't take the onboarding. You look at the AFL, when they onboard someone, they say, this is how you treat women. This is how you manage your finances. This is how you act in public.
Yep.
This is how you communicate properly. This is what leadership means in the team. This is how you deal with stress when it happens. This is how we lose at Collingwood, you know?
Yeah, Collingwood.
And this is how we deal with it. And you've got all these, and then
Jay's a Richmond supporter.
and then this is how we train. Yeah. And this is how you'll become the fittest you can ever be. And this is how we'll make you the strongest you can ever be. And this is how we'll make you the best footballer. So they've got the combination of everything that's important to make a great AFL player.
Yeah.
In real estate, we just skill them up and expect that all the other soft skills, as we call it, will take care of itself. And if it doesn't, it didn't work. We'll find someone else. Next.
Jet, it's quite interesting what you said. I heard twice now. So 46%, I think, was a study. You said the relationships are an issue. Then I loved how you said you manage that. So big thing for me, I've been married for 24 years, and communication, I think, has been one of my biggest strengths.
Yes.
And my wife's too, not just me.
Because you fly around, you're always,
Always worked as an agent, then always been out. So Saturday's always never there. And also with management, it doesn't matter, the size of the business I've managed. I've always had people ringing me after hours, before hours, weekends. It's irrelevant. I've got markets that I was managing that work Sunday when I don't work. So it's always something. But what just tipped it for me was with Clinton. My kids are 19 and 17, but to keep them out of trouble these days, to keep them wanting to still communicate with you, what I did, which and it's by accident, not because I had someone like you to tell us, which I think this is amazing today sitting here.
Yeah, absolutely.
After 30 years I've been in the business, I've never had a conversation like this.
That's awesome.
With anybody.
How good is
that's
this?
Good.
So that's huge admiration for you for doing this.
You have to get Jen to come and talk to your team.
Maybe, exactly. Maybe when we're retired and finished and whatever it may be, in the next 10, 15, whatever it may be, the next people coming have got the advantage of what you're doing, which is changing the industry, right?
Correct.
But I just listened to Clinton, it's just resonated with me. I used to feel guilty not going to sport for the kids on Saturday because you just can't. Real estate, Saturday show day, but unfortunately for kids it's sports day. They'd come home. So with the technology today, it's really good because you can actually FaceTime your kids and so forth and so on, which I've done in the earlier years. But what I've also done from day one, which has helped me, which might help some of the rest, is every single night since my kids were able to talk and come home from school, I used to sit down with them when I walk in, tell us about your day.
Yep.
Now they're 19 and 17 and I walk in, they actually come out of their rooms when I'm home.
Yep.
Say, hey, Dad, ever guess what happened today? Or this happened at work or that happened at wherever it may be. They're mentally attuned to.
Yeah.
And I think looking back at, same thing with my wife. Every Tuesday, I never went in before 10 o'clock to the office and I went and took her for breakfast or whatever it may be for a long time. It was the only time of the week where there was no one around us.
No kids, no nothing.
Well, you worked out your negotiables and your non-negotiables.
Yeah, but by accident, not because we had this, what you've done. And I look back on what was successful and what was not. And if I didn't do those things now, I'd probably have no relationship with the kids. They wouldn't want to sort of, because I'm never there.
You'd be divorced. You wouldn't be married for 24 years.
I wouldn't have been able to have that communication on a Tuesday morning, which really cemented the week. I used to say to my wife, what are you doing this week? I'm going to be here. Where are you going to be? We'd literally get our diaries out and synchronise.
Yeah.
And she'd say, you need parent-teacher night here. You've got to be there for sport. You've got to be there for... And I'd just blank out the diaries. And you're sort of managing... Then I'd go and run the business or do whatever I need to do with the vendors. So real estate, it's an unforgiving business.
Of course it is.
To life.
If you want it to be as well.
It is. And if you don't manage it and not aware, a lot of people aren't aware of what you're mentioning.
Yep.
They look at it and they go, I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this right now going, that's me.
Yep.
I'm in that boat.
Totally,
right?
totally.
And it's easy, you know, I've been down the overweight thing and still sort of there, but, you know, been down the, like, not going to the gym. Everything gets thrown out the window
Yep.
Yeah.
because you're trying to hit this sort of goal,
Yep.
which is really irrelevant because the famous saying, it's no point being the richest person in the cemetery, yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly right. But again, is this message of wellness and wellbeing is about dissuading people from reaching as high as they want to reach. It's getting them to ask different questions. Is there a better way I can do it?
Yeah.
so
That's
there's
exactly
less
right,
impact. Because I coach guys, like I said, I gave the examples,
Yeah.
and one of the guys in particular, 650,000 GCI, 15 kilos overweight, hospitalised twice. Jet, what do I do? 8 months later, 1.1 in GCI, working 4 to 5 days a week, lost 15 kilos.
Yeah.
So
Unbelievable.
don't tell me there's not another model.
Impact.
And this
They can do
gets
it.
back to us in society. This is a societal thing. This is a society that says success equals this and it looks like this. When
Yeah.
you've got Ariana Huffington, who created Huffington Post, she sold it for $350 million. She's one of the top 50 most influential women and business people
In the world.
She's at the epitome of climbing the corporate ladder. You think she would know something about this whole thing. She wakes up in a pool of her blood. She's fallen over, smashed her face, overwhelmed, stressed, lack of sleep, all that sort of stuff that was pitched as this is what you need to do to become successful. And she says, hang on a second, is there a different way? So she brought out the book Thrive. And if there's a book to promote today, it's that book. Get
Thrive.
the book Thrive. She said, we need another metric. Success, power, they cannot be the two metrics that we live by. We need a model that says, how do we thrive? Let's still aim for success. Let's
Yes.
still aim for money. But how do we do it with less impact? Do we need to work 4 months at a time full on? Yes, sometimes we do. Yeah?
Yes.
That's just the nature of our industry.
Balance.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what are we doing at the end of the 4 months? I mean, Kate Strickland says she does work sprints, yeah? She'll go on for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, then she'll have 2 weeks off.
Yeah,
Marcus
yeah.
Chiminello is the same.
Correct.
So how do we just start the conversation around, okay, here are the stats, but where do we go from here? And let's ask different questions, because the old model of real estate, I mean, your office today, Matt, it's an amazing office, mate. Well done on what you've created
you, Jen.
here. It's fresh, it's vibrant, it's inviting. You know, I want to become a real estate agent, you know?
You have to play table tennis.
Yeah, because I like the fruit bowl and
We
table tennis.
need an in-house wellness coach.
That's right. So, we'll strap cameras to everyone and just do FaceTime from Surface Paradise sitting on the balcony. But it's fresh and it's vibrant. And so we need to be saying, hang on, what is the future of real estate in regards to the wellness and well-being of its people? I don't have all the answers, yeah? I just started the research and I know what the global perspective is and the best practice is, but it's offices like yours and guys like you, Claudio and Matt, and who need to be part of this conversation.
Yeah, it's really good. Whatever we can do to get it out there. The other thing, Deepak Chopra says there's a formula for happiness. You'll find it on YouTube. He talks about it. There's actually a formula, like they've studied it.
Yep.
And one of the big things he talks about is your environment. And this was part of what we were creating about people wanting to skip to work.
Yep.
It's like Google. It's like Amazon.
Be with people they want to be with and be happy.
Well,
and that's
social interaction. There's studies around
social
that.
interaction.
Yeah.
And there's some other studies around happiness around 60%, about 55% is our DNA, 10% is stuff out of our control, and about 40% are the actions that we take. So at a social environment like this, get people to take the right actions towards happiness. You've got people who are going to perform at higher levels.
Correct.
You've got, whether they're the high-level agents who are only 1% increments, or they're the $250,000 a year agent who have got 40% increment success to improve upon.
Okay, so
Same
Jet,
rule
sharing
applies.
with the audience, what's the end game and what can they do? Will you come to people's companies and talk about this?
Yeah,
What's the end game for you?
So the end game at the moment is getting people to become part of the conversation. So you need to go to Real Estate Revive Australia Facebook page. That's the first thing, okay?
Okay, perfect. That's where
Real
they can
Estate
find you.
Revive Australia Facebook page. That's where everything's sort of going on, it's a private group where we're talking about what's happening in the industry. You need to put the 29th and 30th of July in your diary for Revive 2018 up on the Gold Coast. That's a summit. It's got some of the best neuroscientists, stress management people, positive psychologists outside of the industry.
Open the book now.
Let's get some information. I'll pump it out my way. You pump it out for your agents.
Revive2018.com.au. Go to that site. The second thing is we need people to to talk about it like this. Yeah. So you guys go back to your worlds.
100% awareness.
And you talk about it. At this point in time, we're putting together programs for businesses. So I do a keynote in businesses at the moment, and then we're looking at training platforms where we can go and say, this is a wellness and wellbeing program you can run over 3 months, or you can run it over 6 months. We want to create a national body that becomes independent of the REIs and brands and sponsors, but is for the industry. I mean, I spoke to Tom Panos after ARIC the other day, and he was talking about suicide on the stage at ARIC at a moment in the ARIC thing. And I said to him, that was awesome. It was great. I said, but we had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
You know, the conversation sort of ended. It wasn't his fault. He didn't do anything wrong or wasn't on purpose. But I said, Tom, we didn't have anywhere to go. Imagine if we had a body, whether it was called Revive, Job, whatever it was.
Yeah.
If you are in a deep hole, go here.
Yes.
You know, and they're going to help you get in contact.
Yeah.
Or if you are struggling to make your calls, it's not because you don't want to. It's because there's a blockage. There's something wrong. You've got a fear. There's something. Go here. Talk to these people. You know, and we can possibly get a hotline up, and there's a whole range of things we've got. So, but in the immediacy, Real Estate Revive Australia, get on that Facebook page. Try and get to the event. And let's do some good stuff.
We'll be there. We'll bring our team.
And Jet, you also got a Facebook Live on, is it Sunday? Wednesday nights?
Yeah, Wednesday night.
What time?
I did have it on Sundays, but you know what? It interfered with my day.
Yeah. Love it. You were surfing.
Wellness.
I got on, I did a few, and I got on, and I go, hey guys, I'm not doing this anymore on Sunday night because I'm freaking out about it all day. It's wrecking my day. I'm doing it on Wednesday night because I'm in work mode and I'll just flow into it. So we changed to Wednesday. Yeah, Revive Live on Wednesday nights. But hook me up at Jet Xavier on Facebook as well.
So
beautiful.
That's awesome. That's just inspirational. If someone's going to obviously listen to this, first thing is actually accepting there is a problem, isn't it? That's really the big thing.
I think, it's a challenge for us in the industry. It's like, okay, individually, what's going on in your world and how can we help? But as an organisation, how can we make some changes in it, you know? And how can we get away from this sometimes negative messaging and understand that everyone's human. I stress, you stress, we all go through our problems. We overextend ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we're overwhelmed. Sometimes we're fearful. Sometimes we don't believe in ourselves. That all has an impact on the commercial viability of why we're in this business. That's to make some bloody money.
That's it.
You know, so how do we bring the two together so we can do it, have fun at the same time, be healthy, wealthy, and wise, and keep pushing forward to make this industry stand out to other industries. You know, we're leaders in many things in this industry, but wellness and wellbeing is not one of them. And let's change it.
We've got a lot of ground to cover to make up.
And the upside is, in saying that, you know, organisations like yourself, which are high-performing organisations, do attract people who are very healthy, very polished, very professional, very trained. They understand personal development. They're not out always getting slaughtered and coming back to work. So, you know, this sort of vibe and attitude is creating people that a different breed of agent that says, you know, we can't go on with the old model of what it was like to be an agent, you know. We have to be, you know, very healthy and fit and have our mind on the game and clarity because the consumers expect it.
Absolutely.
But if I want to stay, have some longevity in this industry, I'm going to need to do the same as well.
Absolutely.
I think we've got to start, like, you know, it's no different, you know, the pilots and how they sort of, we're in control of people's biggest assets. They're in control of people's lives. We've got to start thinking like this business is serious. We've got to get our minds that focused where, you know, we're landing jumbo jets on runways.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, otherwise, it's a game of inches. We miss a buy, we miss a deal, we miss a listing, we miss a sale. We can really cause collateral damage if we're not on the A game all the time.
I agree. And the other thing I want to say, just on, I guess we're closing now, but it's like rugby league. If you thought about, you know, in our day, the West Manly games.
West Tigers, yes.
Lidcombe Oval.
I like you, Jed.
1978. Dallas Donnelly, Les Boyd, you know.
Do you remember those names, Jay?
You know, you think about
Larry Corrigan.
Larry Corrigan, Balmain. Didn't he play for Balmain?
Larry
Balmain
Corrigan.
winger. You think about those days.
Ben Elias.
There were head highs, there were knees, there was, you know, chicken wing, there was everything that happened in the game, right?
Yeah.
You look at the game now, you can't punch on the field.
No.
You're people wear headgear. You
Yep.
know, you get sin bin for certain. You know, the game's changed. It's changed because
it's the same game, but it's changed.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because what they did before was not resourceful. But what they're doing now is protecting the player.
Yeah.
They're protecting the player.
Was
And-
that Tommy Rodonicus?
Oh, yeah.
yeah, Tommy Rodriguez.
Yeah.
And it's 2018. We're out at ANZ Stadium or on the MCG, and we need to catch up with the times and play that
Yeah,
type
that's
of
so true.
that
And
type of game.
And no longer head in the sand.
Very
Yeah.
true.
Couldn't agree more. Well, Jet, it's been an absolute privilege to have
Thanks,
you
guys.
here today, joining us on the Mentors.
Thanks for having us.
And flying in. I know you got a plane to catch.
Yep.
And Claudio, did he answer your question? Jet, you were awesome. Can I just say one thing to Matt Lahood? Go ahead, Claudio. You're epic. All right.
Congratulations, Jet. Good on you.
Clinton's like going, no.
I think we're editing that part.
And somebody to
Clint,
Clinton, we love you, Clinton. All right, thank you so much for joining us here on episode 16, I think it was, of The Mentors. Talk to you later.
well done.
Got something great from this episode? It would mean the world to us if you passed it on. Tune in each week as we mentor a new agent. Have a question? Want to be on the show? Get in touch with Claudio Encina, Matt Lahood, or visit our Facebook page. The Mentors is brought to you by Sprinkler.media.